Hello, as promised, this is part 2 of our painting project of our multifamily here in Columbus, Ohio. In this video, I'm going to discuss what color we picked, what products we used, and how much it costs. In our last video, I asked for some help picking out the perfect white. It's hard to talk about whites via video or pictures, but all whites are not created the same. There's different undertones, some are more yellow, some are more gray, and it really matters. We knew that we didn't want a stark white brick home. We didn't want a lot of blue undertones. We wanted it to be a little more antique. So we decided to go with Sherwin-Williams Shoji White 7042. And you guys, it's the perfect shade of white. It's got that antique feel to it, like it's been around for a long time. It's not gonna blind you. It looks really good. Now, a lot of people chimed in on other social media channels that we're on, namely Instagram, because we talked about painting the brick. And they said, you know, you gotta be careful because then the brick can't breathe or it's gonna start chipping. Here's the deal. Today's paints have really come a long way, especially for masonry. We use the Luxon family paints by Sherwin-Williams. This paint keeps the brick safe from water, but also allows the masonry to breathe, which is really important. Is the paint gonna last forever? No. To be honest, I kind of love the white chippy look a lot of brick houses get, so I'm not mad if that starts happening. And I know we added a bit to the upkeep of the fourplex, but I think in terms of curb appeal, the thing I wanted to keep in mind was that our neighbors also had fourplexes. There's 4 other fourplexes next to us. They're all brick, they all look the same. It kind of actually made me feel like it brought down the value of the street. So by making this building stand out a bit, it made it a little extra special, a little more elevated. And the proof is in the pudding. We have neighbors stopping by, thanking us for putting our special touch onto the fourplex, and I think that's what matters most when you go into a community and you invest in a multifamily. Sometimes it can get a bad rap. We're in a good neighborhood. We want to do good by our neighbors, and by giving this a little unique love, I think it's going to be great for the community and for property value. Now, you shouldn't paint all brick, right? Now, if it's got some historical value to it, or if it's especially beautiful brick, I can understand and support not painting it. But this brick, although it was hardy brick, it wasn't the most beautiful, and we looked like everybody else, and there was nothing historical about this building or the brick in terms of preservation. So we're okay with painting it. Let's talk about cost. So we hired professional painters to do this. Could we DIY it? Could you DIY it? I think so. You would need to rent a sprayer, but the gentleman who painted our house, they used a sprayer and they also used rollers. It's something you could do. They didn't use scaffolding, which we thought they would. They just used tall ladders. But the gentleman we hired got it done in 3 days' time, which was great. It's a fourplex, so it's not the smallest of buildings, but not the biggest of buildings. They only used ladders, they used a sprayer and rollers, and they really knocked it out. We asked them to do 2 coats, and we also had them paint the lintels, so that steel material that's above most doors and windows. They scraped it down for us, they painted it black, it looks great. Yeah, so while they did that, we attacked a lot of what we're good at, which is the interior of the home. So it's kind of like getting this thing moving, because the sooner we can get it done, the sooner we can get renters in there. You kind of have to balance that whole DIY aspect with just getting that rental income to come in as quickly as you can. So the fourplex was also power washed. That was included in the labor price that we got. And when the power washer was here, I mean, he even did a little bit of our cement leading up to the home and the steps. It changed the color dramatically. So if it's not in your budget to paint your brick home, or any home for that matter, take a power washer to it. You can rent them, you can even buy one and keep it. They're not that expensive, and they're always handy. It can really change the look of your cement, of your siding, of your brick, as it did ours. Now, not enough to make me not want to paint this guy, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see that happen. Okay, so how much did this cost you? So for 2 coats of paint over the entire building, including the chimneys, and to paint the lintels, to scrape them and to paint them, and of course to protect everything around the building, the labor cost us just a little over $3,000. The material cost us just around $1,200. So all in, to have the fourplex painted for us, it cost around $4,600. Did we have to do this? No, but we did decide to do this to improve the curb appeal, to make us stand out from our competitors essentially, because they're also fourplexes. So if you pull up and you see every other home looking the same and everyone has a 1-bedroom for rent, we're just hoping that it improves our vacancy rate, and it also makes our community and our immediate neighborhood a little more happy that we're here. So now that the painting's done, we're not done with the entire curb appeal of the house. If you can look, because we painted it white, you can see the coining around the top of the home much better now. I think it pops a lot more. And then the brick detail going down the side also seems to pop. I'm loving the detail. I even thought about maybe painting that like a blackish gray, but I think I'm just gonna stop from letting my creativity take over everything. But these windows are gonna get shutters. Because the home is kind of stately looking with all that coining, I'm probably gonna do like a raised panel shutter. And then we're gonna get a lantern light to go over the door. And we're also gonna beef up the casings around the front door and probably paint the front door. I'm thinking the shutters in the door are probably gonna be a nice soft black, just to keep it classy, simple, hopefully timeless. Black and white has always been a winning combination, and I think it will continue to be. So, and those updates are gonna be pretty minor in cost because I'm gonna make the shutters myself. My husband, Nick, and I are going to do the door casings. I'll paint the door myself. And then just installing a lantern light, which I've been looking at online. And usually you want to get a front door light that's about 1/5 the height of your door. So we can afford to get about a 20-inch lantern light in height. And those running, depending what you want to do, we want to stick with LED. We also like it to be motion censored to save on energy as well. I'm looking at about a $150 to $350 investment depending on what I go with. So we don't have that much more money to spend, and I think we've made a huge impact. Okay, so the sun is setting really fast, so I had to move the camera around. But anyway, I just wanted to say that this paint job will probably last us anywhere between 7 to 10 years. We've already added it to the budget to repaint it should we need to do that in 7 to 10 years. It's quite possible we won't, depending on the kind of weather we get between now and then. We ran the numbers when we bought the property. We prepared for this. The property investment still makes sense, so we're stoked with how it turned out. That's it. We are really excited, like I said, to do all those things we discussed to really beef up this front, but we don't have much more to do. And we're so thankful that we've really had neighbors come over and knock on the door or find us working outside, stop us and thank us for going the extra mile to make this home look better, to look different, to set it apart in a good way. It's also a very competitive rental market in the neighborhood that we're in. And I think our renters are going to see the amount of love and thought we put into this property. So anyway, that's it for this episode. If you have any suggestions, I'm sure you might have comments or thoughts because painting brick is apparently super controversial. Let us know in the comments below. We love a good discussion. But most importantly, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let us know what you want to see. We're making a ton of how-to videos. If there's anything that you just can't seem to find or videos that you think are outdated, let us know. We're happy to do it. We've got 4 apartments that we can kind of just go in there and tinker with and get you whatever information you'd like. It would be our pleasure. And thank you for tuning in.